Well, I'm on the phone with Ellsworth head football coach Duane Crawford, as we are every Thursday and Monday. And, Coach, a big game coming up. It's the last regular season game. You have an exhibition game next week. But this week it's senior night. You're playing Dexter High School at Ellsworth, and it's the last time that a bunch of seniors are going to be walking onto the field and strapping on the Ellsworth uniforms for the football team. Why don't you go ahead and we'll talk about the upcoming game in a bit, but tell us a little bit about each senior and what they've meant to the program.
Yeah, we have 7 seniors this year, Chris, which has probably been the biggest number we've ever had, and I think that probably equates to some of our success. Usually when you have a number of seniors on the team, you tend to be a little bit more successful, especially with football. But start out with Devin Wright, who actually came to us last year, and he played at Belfast before then, and he actually spent some time in Millinocket at Stearns playing in that program. So he came over as a lineman. He played offensive guard, I believe, for Belfast, and I took one look at him and said, wow, I think we might want to look at you at running back or fullback position. So, he started learning that last year, and it was his first year, and he did fairly well. And then obviously this year he's really had a breakout season and done incredibly well. He's up over 1,100 yards rushing for the year. So, and obviously has been a huge factor in our success offensively.
Those are big numbers, especially the fact that you've played 6 games, and because one of the games was a forfeit because of the Stearns program.
Right, because of the
I'm sorry, Camden Hills. Yes, Camden Hills.
Yeah, and then you factor out the Lincoln program, Lincoln game, which was just a complete dud on our end. We only had, I don't know what it was, 50, 60 yards of offense, and we just couldn't do anything. So you throw that anomaly out, and you're looking at 4 games, and that's pretty impressive. Or 5 games. So he's done an amazing job, and he has a bright future should he, continue to want to play at the next level. And I think there's some interest out there. And so he's been he's a great kid, and it's just been a joy to coach over the past couple of years. We have Tyler Hardwick, who's defensive back and wing back for us, and he's been with the program since his freshman year. I think he actually had played 1 year at the 8th grade level, but he's been a great leader, and he's done a tremendous job on the defensive side of the ball, and we haven't gotten in as many carries as I would have liked to this year on the offensive side. We started working with this wing T offense last year, and trying to incorporate all the facets that you can use in this offense, and slowly adding different things to it. And the wing back is something that we have not exploited as much as we should have. But that being said, he had a couple of big touchdown catches against Stearns. He had a deciding touchdown run against Holton, the last score of the game, that really sealed the deal on that game for us. That was with a minute and 47 seconds left to go in the game. We ran it in from 32 yards out on a 147 crisscross, so which matched the time. The kids were pretty impressed. That actually, I think that's how they came up with the play. They looked at the clock, said, "Coach, it's time to run it." So it's our counter play with the wing back, and so he's done a great job, and he's definitely been a huge part of our success as well. And then Connor Petros, who is he played in the youth league, coming up through, played his freshman year and then took his sophomore year off, played last year and then again this year, and he's really come to the front from that running back position. He's had some big games for us. He reads the blocks well and is able to find the cracks, and he's a strong kid. Actually, the first game of the year against Orono, he was player of the week for his touchdown run, where he actually carried 4 or 5 players in the end zone with him. And he's not a huge kid. He's probably 165, 70 pounds, but he's a very good wrestler. And he's in incredible shape, and he just does a really good job. And he also plays defensive end for us and does a great job at that. So he's, all 3 of these seniors have added. In fact, all the seniors in the program have really contributed to this year. And then Ed Sadler, who's the biggest player we have on the team, and he's been huge for us on both sides of the ball, offensive tackle and guard, depending on where we put him for the week, depending on what the matchup is, and then as one of our defensive tackles, and at 300 pounds, he's 6'3". He's really done a tremendous job this year. He's gotten in great physical shape, as have all the players with the conditioning that we've done. But he's played both sides of the ball, done a tremendous job, and when you've got that big body out in front, he's obviously contributed to some of those big gains that both Connor and Devin have had, and on the crisscross, the counter that we run with Tyler, he's out in front blocking for Tyler on that. So Tyler's hiding behind him trying to get down the field, and it works really well. So he's been a huge factor in this season. And then we have Austin Smith, who plays guard for us as well, and he's actually very small for a lineman. He's about 5'8", 175, 80 pounds. But he's another wrestler, and he's just really come to the front. He also plays outside linebacker for us. He's played inside some and outside as well, and has done a tremendous job. He's led the team in tackles on 2 separate occasions, and especially playing inside linebacker or middle linebacker for a kid that size to lead the team in tackles. That's quite an accomplishment. And then on the offensive side, to be able to do the blocking, a lot of times he's going up against guys that are 50, 75 pounds heavier than he is. So he's done a tremendous job on that side. And Wally Moon, he's played defensive end for us, and he's been split in and tight end. And, he's another big kid. He's 6'3", very good receiver. Has done a good job setting the edge for us and on that defensive end position. He's been with the program pretty much since its inception as well. No, he's only been with the program 3 years. I'm sorry. He started a little late. And so for 3 years of football, he's come to the forefront. And last year he started working at that defensive end position, and had a big year for us as a receiver. He was second team all conference as a receiver, and he had 400 or so yards receiving last year. This year his numbers aren't quite as high because we've been doing more running than we have throwing. But he's been huge in that pass game when we do throw it. He's a big target. He's got great hands, and he does a great job all the way around. And then our last senior, Chris DeJulio, we call him DeJulio. He's been a big asset for us on special teams. He's only 5'6" or 5'7", but he's got a motor that just won't stop, and he's on our kickoff and kick return teams, and he's always first one down the field and making great plays, and he's had a couple of good returns, and he's been with the program for the past 4 years, and has just done a tremendous job for us. So, 7 really good seniors that, we wouldn't have the success we had this season without them.
Absolutely. So how has the week gone as you get ready to play Dexter?
It's been a fairly good week of practice. I'm happy with it. We're at the point in the season now where the practices are getting a little shorter because you've pretty much done everything you're going to do as far as implementing anything new in the playbook, whether it's offensively or defensively. So there's only so many times you can rep something before the kids you start to lose their attention. So, but it's been a good week. We've worked on some tackling issues that we had against Madomic, and that's something that always scares me, is because we get out there and we start doing some hitting drills, and we keep it confined into a small area so that you can work on form and technique and don't have kids getting up a full head of steam before there's contact. So we worked on trying to correct some of the issues that we had last week with tackling and not breaking down, and that's gone well. And offensively, we look good. The defense looks good and has all year long, with the exception of a couple of issues. One was last week not being able to set the edge and gave up a couple hundred yards to their tailback, mostly right off tackle or off the end. So working on that, and so overall it's been a good week of practice. We're actually going to have a little bit of a work night tonight just to go through. We've moved some people around. We've got some people out this week, which we didn't anticipate. Petros is going to play just on the defensive side of the ball. I hope he had some fluid on his knee, which just kind of appeared after the game. It wasn't an in-game injury, and so we're going to limit him to one side of the ball this year and move Jacob Shorey over to the tailback position, and so a few new faces there, and just get those guys used to the positions they're going to be playing, and go at it tomorrow night.
All right. Well, we wish you luck, and we look forward to talking with you on Monday, and we'll kind of look back at the season. Although, as we said, you do have one more game, an exhibition game against Madomic Valley on Friday the 30th.
Yes, and that's going to be. We'll play our varsity the first half, and then third quarter we're going to put out the team that we think we're going to have next year, and then the JV squad in the fourth quarter. So it'll be a good chance for kids to get out there, and you can get a few more of the varsity players, especially the seniors. And I tell them this, I've been telling them all week long, and actually each week we play. So guys, this is one last week of football you're going to have, and for some of them, and it's the last time they'll ever strap on a helmet, and which is kind of sad because you put so much into it, and the finality of football being over in your life is, it's when it's done, it's done. There's no more putting on a helmet and playing pickup football. It just doesn't happen. You do 7-on-7 or touch football or something like that, but the real game is something that most of us don't play after we finish our high school careers. So just letting them know that the importance and how much they're going to look back on this season and the accomplishments that they've had, and it's just going to stick with them for their entire lives. So trying to make them realize the finality of everything, but what a great year it was, and it's something they're going to be talking to their kids about.
37 years ago, I remember fouling out of my last high school basketball game. So, you're right. What you do in those last games will stick with you for the rest of your life. Yeah,
and it's, I get together with, every once in a while, I run into some of the kids that I've coached in the past, and they all get together. That's all they talk about is games that they've been in and played, and it's a lot of fun to talk to them, and it's something that they just never forget.
All right, Coach, you're building men. Congratulations on a great season, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
Okay, thanks, Chris.